And I'm going to break it into three pieces. Now, look, I'm not strong enough to do that. So even if I could do it, I couldn't stuff it in the computer and send you each a third of the bar. But I can send you Bitcoin instantaneously because Bitcoin is more divisible and more portable. And the reason I am hashtag 2.1 quadrillion is there are 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis in the world, or there will be when we're at the end in 2140. And that's each Bitcoin divisible to 100 million units. And
Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Finance. In this video, Mark, Yusko discusses Bitcoin and crypto. As per Mark Yusko, Bitcoin is the best investment fund's innovation that has at any point been developed. Full stop. It's cash that doesn't downgrade. It really is deflationary rather than inflationary, as it's the best to say now, when do you spend your not savings? Never, not never. You spend it when you have a major cost, right? You need to purchase a house. You need to send your children to college. You desire a vacation. So this whale that got it at. Yusko think it resembled 70 pennies or something, no 50 pennies, and he held everything the best approach to 70,000 and sold 1,000, and lots of things Mark Yusko discusses. So please watch the video to end, and share this video, and subscribe our channel, Everyday Finance. Thanks.
Has been the only money. Money is an asset that exists in the absence of a liability. Everything that we think of as money is currency. Currency is backed by debt. It sits on top of gold. Gold sits in the central bank vaults, and then we build money on top of it through debt. Currency. And so gold for 5,000 years, a single ounce, right, has bought a fine person's suit. From Cleopatra's time to a suit of armor to a zoot suit in the 20s to Savile Row today, you exchange one coin and you get a fine person's suit. The problem with gold is it's not very divisible and it's not very portable. Like if I had a bar, which I don't have one handy, but if
You're
I did,
not Bob Menendez. You don't have gold bars in your closet like Bob Menendez.
Well, I do, but I'm not going to show you where online.
Hollowed books behind you. Every one of those books has a bar-shaped hole cut out of the pages.
But okay, so I grab a gold bar and I'm going to break it into three pieces. Now, look, I'm not strong enough to do that. So even if I could do it, I couldn't stuff it in the computer and send you each a third of the bar. But I can send you Bitcoin instantaneously because Bitcoin is more divisible and more portable. And the reason I am hashtag 2.1 quadrillion is there are 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis in the world, or there will be when we're at the end in 2140. And that's each Bitcoin divisible to 100 million units. And I long for the day when we no longer talk about the price of Bitcoin, right? I mean, I have the buy Bitcoin sign back there.
Yeah, our chat loves that thing. Is that the one? Is that the one that was behind Janet Yellen?
No, here's it. That is an original. I got it from Christian. It is signed. It is numbered. Oh, wow. But I tried to buy the original, and he said, "Yeah, okay, but I really think it should be in a museum." Like, oh, wow. It will be.
That makes
sense.
In
my museum, the Yusko Museum. And okay. he declined. And so, but he did make me that and gave it to me, or it didn't give it to me. I bought it from him. And, but now it comes out this morning that he is going to auction the original. So I will be at the auction, but my guess is I will lose to someone with more money than I. That's a great question. I mean, that's a great question. You know, I have fun with the maxis because I'll go into a Bitcoin maxi space and they're like, "Get out of here, you shit coiner." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I have more Bitcoin than you." And that's not a brag. It's just real. And that's just luck, right? Again, it's not a brag. It's just, don't call me just because I am a technology maximalist. And so, yes, I own Ethereum. I was an early investor in Solana, not because I'm smart, but because Kyle was smart and we invested with Kyle. And look, I made a lot of money in Solana. Now, Solana, I got in real trouble because, about a year ago, I was on a show and I was they said, well, what did you do with your Solana bag? I said, well, I sold most of it. And I go, well, why? Well, because we made like 2,000 times our money, but I sold because it was breaking, right? I said transactions were vaporizing, and the community went batshit crazy. They were like, yeah, we never roll back the chain. I said, I never said you roll back the chain. What I said was transactions go out, the network's congested, and they don't settle. And unless I'm watching it, resubmit it. Well, now 75% last weekend. So
Revealing from CoinShares featured a week by week $435 million outpouring from digital currency investments in the week that ended April 26th. Crypto trade exchanged items ETPs have now experienced outstreams for the third successive week as Bitcoin cost remains range-bound in the low $60,000 territory. Bitcoin finances drove out $423 million, leave the market following an event, while Ether speculation items too experienced $38 million in withdrawals, denoting their seventh successive week of negative stream Solana and Litecoin EET's Experience stores, posting net inflows of $4.1 million and $3.1 million according to CoinShares. Respectively, the negative surges are reasonable due to deceleration in inflows from new guarantors, which saw just $126 million in inflows compared to $154 million last week. The previous week's data from the side financial backers uncovers that Darkstone's Bitcoin ETF EBIT recorded 0 streams for the initial time last week. The other backers have encountered different long periods of no inflows throughout the course of recent weeks, in the midst of decelerating surges from Grayscale's GBTC. The negative surges are probable. After effect of financial backers' worries about us. Stack inflation is a mix of slower rate of economic expansion and sticky expansion for the debilitating the likelihood of Fed rate cuts. The CME Fed Watch tool states dealers are setting the chances of a June rate cut at just 11.3% at the hour of composing versus 44.8% for September. And 43.8% for November. This implies market investigators are putting your faith in the U.S. Federal Reserve hold rates consistent in May and June, with the principal conceivable cut being later in the year. Let's get back to Mark Yusko interview.
So anyway, this guy reached out to me and he said, we fixed it. I'm like, all right, show me. So he walked me through and we set up a Phantom wallet, and he actually bought me markyusko.sol, and he sent me some, he sent me $10 on, and look, the Phantom experience sending USDC, far superior than any of the other ones I've looked at. Fine, way better. But it was cheap, it was fast. But here's the thing. If 75% of transactions don't settle because the network's congested, we got a problem. And so I like things that work, and the bottom line is, to answer your question, are maxis, Bitcoin maxis, going to ape into ordinals and runes? Now, a few, myself included, because I actually consider myself a Bitcoin maxi, although the true maxis would say, oh, no, you're not. Like, I own some ordinals, I own some runes, and I'm pretty excited about, the runes launch coming up. So I own pre-runes. I don't own runes yet. I own pre-runes. But I'm pretty excited about what's going on there, because inscriptions enable higher transaction fees, which means the miners get compensated and the network's more secure. So I like that. But I don't think the true maxis, like the real hardcore, you can pry the Bitcoin out of my cold dead hands. Well, here's the problem with that. I ask these people all the time, how much money do you have in the bank? Like, what are you talking about? Like, well, how much money do you have in the bank? Well, that's not the same. Like, yeah, it is, because it's not your money, right? You live in a world where you still need to spend in fiat, right? You can't buy coffee. I mean, you can buy coffee in a few places with Bitcoin, but bottom line is most of what we do is can't pay your taxes.
We're not immortal vampires. We have to, we have bills and, food and shelter.
And what people miss, now I still understand why it's so hard. Bitcoin is the best savings technology that's ever been invented. Full stop. It's money that doesn't devalue. It actually is deflationary instead of inflationary. And so it's the best saving. Now, when do you spend your savings? Not never. Not never. You spend it when you have a big expense, right? You want to buy a house. You want to send your kids to college. You want to take a vacation. So this whale that bought it at, I think it was like 70 cents or something, no, 50 cents. And he held it all the way to 70,000 and sold 1,000. It was like, oh my God, it doesn't have diamond hands. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. At some point, you need to replenish. The way you have to think about it is 3 buckets, right? We all have a liquidity bucket, 10 to 15% of our wealth that we need to spend for our lifestyle. Then we have a get rich bucket, right? 10 to 15%. That's for all the crazy ideas, the brother-in-law's condo deal, the hot stock tip you got from your friend. You're going to lose all that. So just keep it small, but that's fine. And then you have your savings bucket, and that's 70 to 80% of your wealth. And the boomer approach is 60-40, 70-30, diversified portfolio, stocks and bonds. Well, now this incredible asset, digital assets, has come along, and now you can diversify into those things. And you could even say, well, with Bitcoin, I could swap that whole portfolio into Bitcoin. Fine. You want to do that? That's fine. That could be your savings. But here's the thing. That 10 to 15% in your liquidity bucket, there's a hole in the bottom. It's going to drain. So you got to keep replenishing.
Way to look at it.
And as the Bitcoin keeps to appreciating, remember, Bitcoin doesn't grow. It's the currency that's getting worse, or the demand is rising, right? Supply and demand. And I don't see why that's so hard. And I don't see why people look at it as a negative if you take some of your savings.
Investigators at financier firm Bernstein stated that the spot slowdown Bitcoin ETF inflows isn't the start of a negative pattern, however, is a present moment stop before BTC continues its bull run. In a note to clients, Bernstein examiners Godam Chugani and Miki Kasapra wrote in a report, "We don't anticipate the Bitcoin ETF slowing down is a troubling trend, but accept it is a momentary delay previously. ETF become more incorporated with private bank stages, abundance guides, and even more financier stages." The investigators stressed their $150,000 cycle focus for the Bitcoin cost toward 2025, referring to end remarkable ETF request, which has seen $122 billion of spot Bitcoin ETF net inflows since their market debut on January 11th. A brand new eCoin metrics report requests that its perusers keep an eye out for a change in the financial circumstances that could represent the moment of truth. The Bitcoin bull market, the report, makes sense of that, while spot Bitcoin ETF opened up another source of interest, turning full-scale breezes in the disappointment of the US central bank to control expansion could inconvenience the bull market that may result in a tightening of the monetary condition. What's more, this would make a headwind for the Bitcoin metrics show a bull market. The Central Bank of Chicago's Public Monetary Circumstances, record NFCI, which estimates the degree of snugness in the financial system in the US is stalling and is at a similar level it was in 2022 when the rates began climbing. As the diagram, the NFCI is stalling as shown above, is a potential clarification for why risk resources, for example, Bitcoin, are negative econometrics made sense of on the off chance that it simply stays at that. Then we are basically encountering a respite in the positively trending market. Yet on the off chance that this is a turn in the monetary circumstances, the positively trending business sector would be in a tough situation. There is an expected positive impetus 1 week from now, as the HQBTC and estimated time of arrival spot. ETF start exchanging interest is filling in. What could serve as an inflow gateway of Asian institutional capital QCP composed in an email sent over the weekend? If you learned something from this video, then please like this video and subscribe our channel Everyday Finance. And we will meet in next video. Thanks.